At 5 o'clock, we start with overnight news. About 40 people in northwest Albuquerque are out of their homes this morning because of a blown gas line. Firefighters forced them out of 10 homes off Driftwood Avenue before 6 last night. You can see here it's near McMahon and Golf Course. New Mexico Gas has had crews out all night long fixing the busted gas line. Most of those people, we are told, are staying with their neighbors. Well, a hot button issue could still go before voters in Albuquerque despite city councilors not being able to get it on the ballot in October. We're talking about what could be a ban to late-term abortions. It's not a done deal just yet, but getting the chance to vote on that may end up costing you a lot of money. News 13's David Romero is live in front of Albuquerque City Hall with all the details. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Matt. Well, that would have to come in the form of a special election, something which could cost you, the taxpayer, about $600,000. Now, anti-abortion groups gathered signatures to try and get a ban on abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy have passed. Now, for the issue to even get on the October ballot, 12,000 of those petition signatures had to be verified by City Clerk Amy Bailey yesterday. Her office was only able to verify about 10,000 of those.
It's a really hard, tedious process, and there's been some perception that we are delaying the process, but really they're working so hard and they've done an excellent job.
And the possibility of this having to go in a special election, an expensive special election, is something that city councilors aren't too happy about. You're going to hear from them coming up in half an hour and get some of their reaction. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you for the update, David. We apologize for that audio issue, too. We're going to work on fixing that. The other way this issue could go before you, the voter, without the expense of a special election, is if there is a runoff for the mayoral race. That issue could be slipped in there then. Well, Governor Susana Martinez is ordering all flags to be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset today in honor of New Mexico State Representative Stephen Easley. A public memorial for Mr. Easley will be held this afternoon at 2 in the Roundhouse Capitol Rotunda. Mr. Easley died last week of complications from an infection. He was elected last year to District 50, which covers parts of Santa Fe, Torrance, and Valencia counties. Well, the one-time political powerhouse who helped steal millions from taxpayers could get out of prison any day now. Former state senator Manny Aragon pled guilty to helping bilk more than $4 million. While the Metro Courthouse is getting built a decade ago, he was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. He's been in a federal prison in Colorado since 2009. Aragon is set to be released next May, but he is eligible to go to a halfway house a year before that. Well, an Albuquerque police officer going to be on desk duty today because he's accused of roughing up his pregnant wife. Valencia County Sheriff's deputies say Jared Folk got into a fight with his wife at their home in Los Lunas Friday night because of his cell phone. Deputies say their 2-year-old son was crying, "Daddy, stop," as Folk grabbed his wife's wrist, twisted her arm, and shoved her to the floor, all while shouting at her.
Derogatory comments indicating that he should continue beating her.
Well, his wife was hurt but will be okay. The unborn child, thankfully, was not hurt. Folk did go to work after and is now charged with assault and battery on a household member. One of 2 brothers convicted in a gruesome double murder in Albuquerque should find out how long he's going to spend in prison this afternoon. Rigoberto Rodriguez here was convicted of murder, tampering with evidence, robbery, and a number of other charges. Police say in January of 2010, Rigoberto and his brother Jaime, along with a woman, killed Connie and David Maldonado in their home near Ladera and Ouray Northwest because of a drug debt. Well, mom in Albuquerque, this mom still in jail this morning after being accused of threatening to kill herself and her kids. Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies moved in on Tawana Size's SUV yesterday morning after getting a call about the threat. Deputies stopped it here near Edith and Alameda and arrested Ms. Size. The children, a 2-month-old and a 6-year-old, are okay, thankfully, and they're now with their father.
They seem to be okay and happy to be back with the dad.
I imagine so. Tawana Size is now charged with child abuse. Well, plain foolishness creates a dangerous mess in Lincoln County. Solid waste workers there say some people have been leaving trash outside dumpsters. Now that, as you can see, is bad enough, but others are apparently too lazy to even find a trash can and are just throwing stuff anywhere in the open. And on top of that, there is something else going on.
We have a number of tourists that will deliberately set trash sacks out and wait for bears to come and try to get up close to them and take pictures, and that can be pretty dangerous.
You have got to be kidding me. That is so horrible. People caught dumping illegally face fines up to $5,000 a day. Causes problems for people to clean up the mess and then for the bears and game and fish agents as well. And speaking of game and fish, they're still looking for whoever tried to sabotage this bear trap. They put out the trap earlier this month after a bear broke into a home in the Sandia Heights area and bit a man's hand. They think that this person here tried to ruin their efforts to catch the bear by closing the trap's door and then here spreading some substance on the trap to keep the bear away. Last week, the department called bear they think is the same one that attacked the man. New this morning at 5:06, pilots who fly at high altitudes may be at risk of getting brain lesions. That's according to a new study that looked at MRI brain scans of more than 100 U.S. Air Force pilots. The study in the journal Neurology found the pilots had 3 times the number of brain lesions as people who do not fly. The lesions, caused by what's known as decompression sickness, can cause memory loss and confusion. And high school girls are more likely to use tanning booths and sun lamps than women in their 20s and 30s. Researchers from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, say that nearly 30% of Caucasian high school girls use some sort of indoor tanning during a 12-month period, and that more than 16% did it about once a month. Less than 25% of Caucasian women who are 18 to 34 years old did that indoor tanning in the same period. Doctors say that can lead to skin cancer. Well, this morning, a man in Las Cruces might have a rare picture of the famous Wild West outlaw Billy the Kid. Take a look at this. A historian recently identified the man pictured on the left as Dan Dedrick, a good friend of Billy the Kid. Now, that lends credibility to the belief that the man on the right here is Billy the Kid. Dedrick's descendants say the picture was a gift from Billy to Dedrick. It was taken back in 1890, 1879 or 1880 in Fort Sumner. The picture was sold in 2011 to a businessman in Florida for $2.3 million. It now belongs to a man from Mesilla. Now, up to this point, there has been only one other known picture of Billy the Kid. A little bit of Wild West folklore for you on this Tuesday.